Hey, Rainbow here. Welcome to my channel. As always, thank you for being here. Today is going to be another battery day. Go figure, right? I'm going to be putting in the KTM RC390 is going to get a brand new lithium-ion battery. Very lightweight, but it's going to go in the KTM RC390. I'm going to show you how to put it in. We're going to talk a little bit about this. So let's get started right now. All right, so why would you want to put in a lithium-ion battery? To me, there's really just two reasons and two reasons only that are positive, and there's probably one negative depending upon where you live. And let's talk about that. So with a lithium-ion battery, you're going to get more charging cycles out of it. So it's supposed to last longer. The overall decision on how I'm going to rate this is going to really take time. We're going to see how long this battery lasts, all right, and how much time and effort. I would love to put one in my Ducati Multistrada V4 Pikes Peak, but I just replaced it with a regular lead acid AGM battery that has got that glass matting in there. So that's the nice part about this, is that it just comes ready to go, ready to rock, and it's very lightweight. The one that I'm going to be taking out of this RC390 weighs about 7.7 pounds. This one weighs 2.2 pounds, 1 kilo, and that is about a 5.5 pound difference. So that's going to help me so I can put on more fat before I get on my bike and save weight in the battery. It's a little bit of weight, but it's still some weight, and we're going to really saving about 2 kilos on this. So the other thing with these batteries is that, like this one, this from EBL, if you look here, it kind of gives me a status. It lets me know what the status of the battery is, so I can just press the button and see it. And I don't have to go ahead and I don't have to set it up. Just like the AGM from Yuasa, you know, there I had to get it ready. There was prep time. I had to put the sulfuric acid in. I had to wait for the matting to absorb the sulfuric acid, and then you had to give that time, and then you had to start charging it, then you had to close it up and seal it, and then put it on charge again. So there's a whole bunch of things with that, where this is just kind of ready to go. So it's lightweight and there's a lot of duty cycles on this. That's the good news. How long they last, again, I don't know. Now, one other thing that is a negative, it's my understanding that these lithium-ion batteries, they don't do too well in the cold. So if you live in a cold climate where you wake up in the morning to take your motorcycle out, it's pretty cold, you leave it outside or in a cold garage, chances are you may have some performance affected, and I don't know how that's going to affect the lifetime. Let's put it in and let's see how easy this can go in the KTM RC390. Now this is the 2022 model. It's the same thing for 22 or the 2023. Let's do this from EBL. Well, first thing we're going to do, get a 5mm hex and start taking these screws out. That's simple. One on one side, one on the other. Don't lose this insert right here. Let's do the other side. Okay, so real easy. In the back, they're just sitting on pins through little rubber grommets. You pick those up, pull this out, and off it comes. I mean, it is literally that simple. And you can easily see the battery right here once we get everything open. I have this extra wire harness I have sitting there from some electronics that I had installed. And as usual, just get a Phillips head, all right? Now, like I said in the past, I always take off the negative first, all right? So the negative comes off, okay? And just set those negative wires off to the side. Now, it appears as though my strap that holds us down is already broken. This broke in probably 6 months, so it technically should have been under warranty. I don't really care at this point, but normally there's a strap that goes here. This one is broken. Next thing you're going to do, okay, I'm going to put this screw back in here real quick so I don't lose it. Not that I'm really going to need it, but it's always good to have some spare screws laying around, okay, because there's really nothing wrong with this battery. Then we're going to come over here to the positive, and we're going to remove the positive. And like I told you before on the Ducati Multistrada V4 Pikes Peak, make sure the battery tender is not hooked up to this. Otherwise, you're going to have power coming in here, all right? So nothing could be hooked up to this at all. Come in here. Let's remove this positive wire and get that out of the way. Again, negative first, then the positive. All right, and at this point, we should be ready to try to pull this thing out of here. All right, got to be careful because of the blown disc in my back, and I'm doing this at an angle so I don't get my hands in the way. But we're just going to go ahead and pull this battery out and take it over to the bench. Now that the battery's out, let's take a look at the difference between the two, okay? The only thing that's different, the width is the same, the length is the same, it's just the height that's different, okay? Now, this has 120 cold cranking amps. This has 300 cranking amps, which probably get reduced down to about 200 cold cranking amps. It's not rated for it. This is a 5 amp hour battery, which means basically if you were to put a 1 hour draw on this, it would last for 5 hours. This one here is around an 8 amp hour, which means it would last 8 hours if you were to put a 1 hour charge on it. These have really good deep cycles. This has actually more cranking amps than this one. So in order to compensate for this, so that it fits properly, they come with these little plastic parts that come on. I would just put this on here, okay? And then it even comes with the screws to screw it to the bottom. Then as you can see, it ends up being almost exactly the same size here. So that's really the difference. Let's go ahead, put this on and get this new one installed and save 5.5 pounds. And I'm going to keep this one and put on a little trickle charge because right now, as far as I know, there's nothing wrong with this at all. But since this came in, I'm going to go ahead and use it. All right, now it is full disclosure time. Why did I buy this battery? The answer is I did. An EBL contacted me and asked me if I wanted to try out one of their batteries, maybe do a review. Yeah, I'll do a review, but a review for a battery takes time. You have to evaluate how it performs over time, not just over weeks or months, but I want to make sure that this thing is going to last a few years. I'm not going to have any trouble with this battery. This is the one that they sent me because they thought originally that I was going to put it in a multi-strata V4 Pikes Peak. It obviously will not fit there. We went over that on the last video, which I will link up here, okay? But this battery is the one that we're going to put in. I got it for free. I am not endorsing it whatsoever. I am simply showing you how to install it, and then over time, I will let you know how this battery is performing, but I will certainly enjoy the benefits of this being a significantly lower weight, especially on my track bike, the KTM RC390. So let's go ahead and do the simple part of just putting this back in the bike. All right, time to put it back in. Well, not back in, put it in for the first time. Now, this strap that's broken that holds this battery down, it's really not going anywhere anyway. It's actually the entire thing here, the way it fits, so that it's completely encapsulated and any drippage in here will stay in there, all right? So it's not gonna work. I already put the bottom back on here. There's that bottom piece to raise it up a little bit. It's so light. You just put it back in, didn't even need to do that, and it's time to reconnect, and we're gonna do it in the opposite way. Before I remove the negative first, which is the safer way to do it, and then I removed the positive. Now remember, there were 2 wires on the negative, these 2 right here, and there was only 1 on the positive, so I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the positive first. All right, so one important thing is that there's only 1 side here, and that's good because if there was 2, it would never fit on here. So I'm not thrilled with these posts, but this post is level on this side, so when you put it in, it'll lay flat, and you can start the threads on this to get this thing in and on properly. So if you can see what I'm doing there, it's just really simple. Just gonna go ahead and just tighten this down so that it goes in place, all right? Try not to overdo it. That's why I use a Phillips and not a nut driver, because a nut driver, I think I would run the risk of stripping it out. All right, so that's on there nice and tight. That's finished. Let's come over here to the negative. And same thing on this side. This is going to go up against here, and I also need this wire right here to go in. So we're going to go ahead and get this started just the way it was. Probably lift it up a little bit just to get the thread started, and then get it back in place. Hope I'm not blocking the camera. And get this thing down and tight. Okay, positive and negative are both in place. Normally I would strap this back on, but I can't because KTM's thing broke within the first 6 months. I'm just going to go ahead and see if we get power to the vehicle. All right, ready to race. Looks like we're good to go here. Kill switch is in place. Battery's working. Time to just put it on a trickle charge. And one final thing before I sign off, I'm going to leave this exposed. It was easy. It's literally 2 screws, you know, on each side, and then it just sits on top of here with the grommets. I'm going to let it exposed while I charge it the first time. And again, this particular charger has 4 different modes. Right now I have it set for lithium battery. Yesterday I had it set for the AGM battery. So this has AGM, it has gel, it has regular, and it has lithium. It's just the same kind of little amperage coming in, but it kind of adjusts the voltage and how hard it actually go ahead and charges it. So that is it. That's simple. Again, I'm just going to leave this off so it's exposed. It is a lithium battery. I have to put all my wires back in and tuck them, and of course that's going to probably help keep this down, but this is nice and tight in here. Even though the strap's not working, I'm not worried about it. I'll just have to order one of these from KTM and of course pay for it because of my horrible experience with KTM's warranty. Not worth the fight. So there you have it. That's the process. Let's see how this battery does. We're going to keep it on charge and take it from there. This is Rainbow. Please like, please subscribe. Man, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.